Now I'm live. Wow, the thing was spinning for quite some time. Didn't know if we would make it live and very pink looking tonight. I guess Valentine's Day is on the horizon, so that's reasonable. I have to figure out how to balance out the color in here. I had wound up doing so many fucking pre-records during the day when there's just natural light in here that the lights got set to a certain way, and I have no idea. I got to take a minute to fix them. The problem is they're very sensitive, so like if you point the remote at one to change it, it like bounces and it hits the other one, and then they all start going nuts. So for tonight, we're going to be a little pink. Call me Mr. Pink. Who was Mr. Pink in Reservoir Dogs? Was it what's his name from The Sopranos? The sickly looking he's a great actor. I always forget his name. Anyway, let me do the thing here where I check the audio. You enjoy the gals over my shoulder. Take a gander. We up and running. It says so. Do we have audio? That's the question. Can I hear me? Do we have audio? There it is. Great success. Okay, now we can Friday night. Well, before we can Friday night, I do have to give you the usual reminder. Twitter at Mike Montone, Instagram at Gary_Moyler, Moyler, and YouTube, of course, at Mike's Golden Streams, or just search Sacktap Live. You're bound to come across it eventually. Sacktap Live, Mike Montone, search it, you'll find it. And the Savage Sacktap is the audio version. You can find that wherever podcasts are available. Usually I get started here and it's a whole thing about who has offended me while being out and about. None this week as far as I can remember. I don't think so. I usually make note of them. We had a lot of very, very cold, wet weather, rain, ice, all of that shit. So a lot of people just hide inside. More people remote work when that goes on. So it's actually quite pleasant. I love when the weather is terrible. It keeps the riffraff away. Bring on the snow. It was pretty solid. There's rock salt all over the place, which is interesting because they put this shit down to make things, to melt the snow and make it safer to walk. But also sometimes they put it down in such quantities that it just creates its own slipping hazard. Like I went out for a very long run today, got in a nice 12 miles, and I was going up this hill. I wanted to make sure there are these three monstrous hills that I wanted to run up as part of my workout. And one of them, the first one I was going up, it's a mile-long hill. So you kind of, you got to pace yourself. You got to be careful. And now there's the addition of, it was either completely slick with ice, or just piles of loose rock salt on the ground. So the entire way up, I had to like brace and kind of hold myself like a running back about to juke so that I didn't blow out a knee. So it was an interesting one. Interesting Friday. I will be quite happy when this marathon bullshit is over. I'm not going to lie. I enjoy a long run, but having to, because you can't not go for your runs, because that's how you train. You got to get out there and just run. It's your only choice. I do a long run every week, and then I do a very aggressive metabolic conditioning cardio during the week. And then, you have to do it. Otherwise the day is going to show up and you're just going to die. Like, I'm not going to run a very good time, but I would like to move through the race in sort of a brisk, healthy manner, right? I don't want to like fucking at mile 22 just, collapse. Although I think there are like fat people who do these things and just walk them, so it's not that big a deal. But I will be very happy when this is done because I will no longer have to commit massive chunks of my Friday to going out for these fucking ridiculous long runs. And like you have to plot the fucking the loop so you're getting all, like I had to make sure I got 12 miles in today. So I had to plot the 12 miles, and it's like around here it's kind of like, how many times can you run past the same shit? So you're constantly trying to find different ways to do it. So I do this one with these big hills, and they are a motherfucker, but I love it. It feels good going for a run in the ice cold is it's something else. It gives you a very, very nice endorphin dump. But yeah, that was that. So I did that, and then I do a grocery shopping because I'm loading up on food, and they had my entire fucking street shut down because they're like drilling. They're drilling into the entire street, so it's all blocked off. So just squeeze in my grocery shopping just now at like 6 o'clock, and there is gridlock all over the place. This congestion pricing may be helping in New York, I guess. People are still driving to work because there were a million cars out on the road. Hoboken and Jersey City, traffic nightmare. Not interested. This isn't that interesting to anyone, but I'm a tad on the riled up side because I hate driving in urban traffic. It drives me crazy. We have all these idiots zipping around doing Uber Eats deliveries on bicycles and e-bikes, and everyone's just wearing black. I don't know why winter coats are black. Like, it's the darkest season. Everyone's walking around in just wrapped up in dark clothing. They can't see anywhere because they have like wool hats over their eyes and scarves up to their cheeks. So they have no way to look around. They're darting in and out between like parked cars trying to cross the street. It is a wonder that there are not more cases of vehicular manslaughter being reported. Howdy to the boys in the comments section. Andrew Bennett, Dustin Landry, Pythagano, Cowster. Yes, Cowster. I am usually I usually go during the middle of the day because that's kind of when I'm usually free. Like I would have done this at 2 o'clock in the afternoon if I could have, but these whatever public works project they're doing, which I'm sure is some sort of money graft by Jersey City or Hudson County. This is like the third time they've done it and shut down the street for a week. They had to do today, and yeah, a whole rigmarole out there. Philly Fathead is in the house. Philly as in Philadelphia. Oh my, please don't call me an ugly cunt. Andrew Bennett, tell everyone at Costco I said hello. So if I just start yelling, suck my balls, suck my balls, suck my balls, everyone at Costco can hear that? Fun. Alexa, dial 911. I don't know if that hit anybody's phone out there, but good times. Good times indeed. I won't allow one of those spy devices into my house, so I'm not susceptible to such things. They can indeed. Hey, shout out everybody at Costco right now. Turn around. This man is a pedophile. I can keep doing this all night, so I'm just gonna get on with the shit. So Lauren Sanchez caused quite a stir. Sorry, I really hope. It would be great if there actually is a pedophile walking around Costco and he just bolted as soon as as soon as he heard that. Costco is home to. There are a lot of pedophiles walking around there. It's where they get the candy. That's how if you're going to stock an entire van with candy, you need to buy it in bulk and you need to get discounts. So Megyn Kelly, not the only. A lot of people very upset about Lauren Sanchez's attire. Let me see if do we have a picture of Miss Sanchez. People were really enjoying looking at Lauren Sanchez at the inauguration. Clinton was looking at him. Everybody was looking at him. They were on display, and here they are. Lauren Sanchez giving us the Sue Ellen Mischke treatment, wearing a bra as a top underneath is that a blazer or a sport coat? I don't know the difference. But they look good. She looks good. Megyn Kelly was pissed. What did Megyn have to say? She got profane. Megyn Kelly gets profane. She said she looks like a hooker. She dresses like a hooker. I'm sorry, that's not saying she looks like a hooker. I don't want to put words in her mouth, but Megyn Kelly said no one should be talking about your tits. Sorry, they should be talking about the inauguration. So this is where Megyn Kelly and I differ. I think it's always a good time to talk about breasts. I think it's very rare that there is a moment when we should not be talking about a woman's ample bosom, which is really leads me to what I wanted to talk about here. I was on Twitter and someone posted a picture. It's this new thing on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, where they take an attractive woman and people just complain about every one of her features. And I guess Lauren Sanchez is 55. This is objectively, I mean, if she was 45, I would say she looks great. And I know she's had work done, this and that. And there are guys who are not into that look, like the lip filler and everything like that. But just objectively, as a 55-year-old woman, she looks wonderful. There is no way that people who are very online and spend all their time on Twitter are pulling down, for the most part, I guess, are pulling down ass that looks like this. Certainly if they are in the Bezos age range. I'm assuming Bezos has got to be in his early 50s or whatever. But there is no way. I mean, most guys in general, if you go out and look at the general population, most men settle down with pretty frumpy chicks, right? And I think what happens is you realize this when you go back. Like, I live, in Jersey City and right on the border with Hoboken here, so you see a lot of people in their early 20s, and if you're watching like a college football game or whatever, they pan the crowd. Or if you've been back a couple of years ago, I went back to watch a game at my alma mater with all the alumni. What you start to realize is that everyone young, just kind of looks good. Not everyone young is not necessarily equivalent with hot, but everyone who's young kind of looks good. So people kind of find someone and they settle. And it's if you look at engagement or wedding pictures, everyone, looks their best and whatnot. But over the years, there just aren't that many women or guys for that matter who really hold it together well. So everyone kind of looks all right when they get together. And then once you hit 30, the drop off begins for both genders. By the time you get to your late 30s, early 40s, you can really see who's taking care of themselves, who isn't. By the time you get to 55, I mean, most guys, I think, just eyeballing the general population. And again, I live in an urban area where people kind of, they put it together a little bit more. They want to look, everyone, who lives around New York City, there's sort of a vanity to the area. You get out to the suburbs where, it's a family, 4 kids now. And you're in that comfort zone where fucking dad just goes into the bathroom with his phone for a while and, pleases himself. And the wife is barely even looked at as a sexual being. Things get very, very frumpy, very, very fast. So it is, if you are saying you wouldn't do Lauren Sanchez, if you are saying that you are not thrilled to see her put them on display, then you're a liar. You're just a very online person who has decided to shit stir, and you wanted to be provocative, because I'm telling you, most guys are not in their prime. Most guys are not pulling 55-year-old Lauren Sanchez. Like, this is just an absolutely ridiculous thing to say, that you would not, as several of you have mentioned in the comment section, smash or hit that. As Ura85 puts it, hit that. Yes, indeed. Yes, Shane and Silent Bob, good to have you here. Glad to see you live. Glad to see everybody live tonight. Yes, Andrew Bennett, I would agree. Guys who complain about Lauren Sanchez are indeed of that persuasion. Yeah, she is a good time. And as I age closer to this, it is very interesting seeing, we've talked about this before here, the porn community shift now to late 30s, 40s, early 50s. Like, it's fascinating. And like, again, the Brandy Loves of the world they're still looking good. Still fucking crushing the game, crushing the dicks into their 50s. It's going to be very interesting as we go through the next decade now. Yes. Gibbons Gomez, old women are sexy now. I don't know where the fuck, I have no idea where this came from. I mean, growing up in the 90s, it was like the idea of a woman over 50 was like, you shuddered at it. You were like, they were matronly. They didn't even seek to attract. And then all of a sudden, I credit CrossFit for this. And, by extension, like Pilates and all the other sort of class style gyms that got broads in working out and putting tension on important body parts. So yes, very good. Hey, look, we should all be in support of anything that grows the the penetrable female population. This is, I think, a fantastic development. The downside is, of course, that I think there will always be a very precipitous drop off there. So, like, that the adult film stars, for example, that we're enjoying now into some of their later years, I think it's going to be like seeing your golden retriever turn 11 years old. Like, it's going to go south fast. But until then, it looks like the comment section is alive with people. Thagino, for him, it's more of a question of personality. I will say I do enjoy the sort of sprightly, peppy perkiness of a woman in her younger years. But yeah, Nina Hartley still out there putting in that work. Cheese, absolutely. And of course, Michael Bart's a fine point. Yeah, get me to 1,000 subs here, just so the number looks good. I'm competing with the Opster. Maybe I should go. Maybe I should go out wilding in New York City, unleash myself. Um, I can go buy envelopes or whatever the hot new digital content is these days. But anyway, shout out, big thank you to Lauren Sanchez. Fine work at the inauguration. Clinton enjoyed them, and that's really the litmus test. Clinton loves pussy. If he liked it, everybody liked it. End of story. Good girl. Speaking of the inauguration, so there was the Elon Musk, whatever whatever it is he did. I don't know if it was a Roman salute, a Nazi salute, if he was just waving to the crowd and saying "I love you guys." I have no idea. I'm pretty sure he's just a high functioning autist of some kind. I don't know how serious it was to be taken. Of course, everything is not taken seriously now. Everything is taken as it suits the people who are trying to take it. And yeah, Cheese. I tend to agree with you. Cheese says Elon was just stimming, guy's autistic, and yeah, I mean, I tend to think that that's what it was. I think he was very giggly throughout the whole thing. Now, Elon also, we can't throw out the fact that Elon, as Thagano says, I was just about to get to, is a troll. Yeah, he's very trolly. He likes he did that thing with the sink. Let that sink in. Ha 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 ha. And he's always like he was on X, or I just still call it Twitter because X just doesn't, for whatever reason, just doesn't sound right. But he was on the platform where you write things and people write things back. And he was like doing wordplay with like Goebbels and some of the other guys. So who knows? Again, it's Musk, but more to the point, these redditors have gone nuts, and I love Reddit. Like, I find Reddit to be one of the most entertaining places on the entire internet. I assume a lot of it is just people writing like ridiculous fan fiction and stuff. Like, especially if you get like, there's some very interesting subreddits on like divorce and aging, and it's really people writing diatribes about how they're on the edge and how they're about to let go and give it all up. So I just kind of like to go through there, and there's also just it is a trove of amateur pornography. The amount of like housewives from the Midwest and the American South who just post pictures of themselves, just full whole spreads on that website are, I mean, for that alone, it is worth its weight in gold. There are a few things I enjoy more than when I have a few minutes to kill just searching it, like amateur pog on Reddit will lead you down some delightful rabbit holes, or whatever your preferred. If you're a breast man, or if you like the OnlyFans college chicks, whatever you happen to be into, Reddit has it in droves. But there are now a lot of Reddit communities in response to Elon Musk doing what he did, they're banning links from Twitter from being shared in their subreddits. So this is right now. It appears to be an autist versus autist war, because Reddit is also sort of it is a hotbed of spurg. It's You go in there, like I'm as I mentioned at the top of the show, I'm running a marathon in the spring. So like, I want to get a fresh pair of running shoes. The ones I'm using now, I use to train for my half marathon, and they're kind of a little bit worn out. So I want to get something that fits my foot a little bit better. So I've been doing my research, looking for what kind of drop and toe box and all of that jazz is the best for my particular type of foot. But like, people are writing in there like, oh yeah, like, how much do I have to train for a marathon? I'm running one in June or whatever, and it's like there are people writing 10-paragraph responses like, if you don't want to go out and train every day, why are you even doing it? And it's like, yeah, because people just do these to see it, for the satisfaction of completing a 26-mile trek like that. Not everyone is trying to qualify for a time. Like, someone was asking about a specific shoe, and someone commented like, hey, you have to be careful about that shoe because it enhances speed so much that a lot of races won't allow you to register an official time if you run with that. And guys were going ballistic, like, someone saying like, oh, you could wear it if you don't care about your time. If you're running it for yourself, that's fine. And these guys are going nuts. Like, if you don't care about your time, what are you doing? Why are you stepping out there? Like, calm the fuck down. It's a fun run. All right. Like, it's a fun run, but this is like every subreddit for everything you can imagine is this, except for the porn ones, because those guys just have their hands on their rods. They're just ready to enjoy. But like, any Reddit you go into, it's just the most tismy of the tismy, going nuts about whatever is being discussed, and it's fun. It's just fun to watch. But now they're going after X, and people on X were laughing about this because Reddit just bans things. Like, it's very, I think it leans very hard left, and there's a lot of LGBTQIA plus on there, and so they knee jerk very hard in favor of leftist causes. Which is there anything more fun than a good leftist cause? It's amazing how, like, the generation of doing drugs and having sex in the mud at Woodstock gave birth to a movement of just such buzzkills. Yeah, moderator in the Formula One group, I guess it's Formula One Racing, is banning all content from X, among others. I started seeing the Jersey City group that I frequent for, like, to find out about, like, alternate side of the street parking and whatnot. They're moving to ban, I think. Like, it's a bunch of subreddits are doing it, and it's funny because it's like everyone's still on Twitter. Like, every effort people make to take this thing down, like, everyone's still using it. Like, it's just, there are a lot more porn bots now, but everyone's on there. No one's leaving. Like, everyone's comfortable in there. They've nestled into the couch. They've made an ass crease, and that's where they are. So I don't understand why everyone's going so nuts. And also, oh, this is great. uh, Formula One moderators claim that uh, they were planning to do it for quite some time. They said there's no doubt that over the past years, Twitter has become a low quality source. The login requirements, the flood of bots, the prioritization of content from paying users, and promotion of sensationalist content. We think it's time to try and see how the subreddit works without content from Twitter. Um, yeah. Um, that's not it. Admit what it is, because you would never, if you're running a subreddit, ban an information source just because you think that source is inconvenient. Um, uh, Liverpool FC, so a bunch of soccer dorks, a bunch of moes who are you're a big enough. If you're a big enough soccer fan that you join, that you're active in a subreddit for a soccer team, then you're just, we know all we need to know about you. Chicago Bears subreddit did it too, and of course, Chicago. The name of the city speaks volumes about it. So of course, a bunch of Chicagoans are going to ban that. Remember, this is the city that elected Lori Lightfoot. So again, not a bastion of common sense. Um, any others? Users from this chess subreddit, and the Dungeons and Dragons subreddit. Yeah, so just winners across the board have banded together to try to, I don't know, to try to cancel a billionaire. Okay, all right, fun. Um, I mean, it's an interesting game to play because you see what's going on with TikTok now. You've seen Zucks and all the other tech guys kind of bend the knee. Um, it would be interesting. This is just kind of week one of the latest iteration of the Trump White House. So it'll be very, very interesting to see how these different groups sort of react and interact with each other as we go through all of this. I will say it is interesting to me how these people are all furious over what they've deemed a Nazi salute, which, by the way, the Anti Defamation League, I believe, came out and said that they do not consider it a Nazi salute. Let me see if I can find their comments on it. Oh, here we go. The Anti Defamation League said in a post on X that it was an awkward gesture and a moment of enthusiasm, not a Nazi salute. And I think that's more likely. I think the ranking of possibilities goes autistic guy doing something awkward, trolley guy doing something trolly, and then all the way down here, Elon Musk Nazi gives Nazi salute. So I think there's a lot of stuff in between. Like if you told me he was watching a documentary on the history of ancient Rome right before he went in to the thing, um, I would find that to be more likely. But very interesting that all of these people who are supposedly looking out for the victims of Nazis, which again historically the biggest victims of Nazis have been the Jewish people. I looked at a lot of the profiles of people who are supporting the X bands on Reddit, and they are just to a man all outspokenly pro-Palestine, and by extension, I would imagine pro-Hamas. So very, very interesting battle lines being drawn here early in the going. Yes, it is the mods do power trip aggressively on Reddit. I do notice a lot of, although they don't spend a lot of time again in the naked subreddits. Everyone's playing nice in there. Come on, and the water's great. Water's fine, it's warm. The ladies are showing whole. Hang out in the naked subreddits. Um Ura 85. I will be running the Jersey City Marathon in April. I think it's like April 14th or 15th or some shit. Yes, Michael Bartz. Yes, Lauren Phillips is she's a good one. Very tall. If you are into an an Amazonian uh woman, then Lauren Phillips is your gal. But yeah, quite fetching. Um, American Primeval was good on Netflix. Indians and Mormons go hard. Is it good? I hear it it looked very like it looked like a woke frontier story. And it felt like, not that I have any kind of problem with a frontier story where someone sticks up for the Indians, but it just seems too of the time now where they're cramming things down our throats that are, you know, this is go oh the white man stands up to the other the white savior thing. I always, not that it can't be an entertaining or like well acted show, it's just it kind of brings this cringe element to things. um Andrew, inquiring minds want to know, um, did anyone turn around and point you out as a pedophile while you were in Costco? Please, please, please update us on that one. Um, yes, cheese. I There are a lot of OnlyFans chicks on there promoting in those subreddits. But the good thing about that is that those chicks, in order to promote their OnlyFans, show a lot of hole. So that's fun nonetheless. Where are we? 8:38. Okay, got a few minutes. Very quickly, and then maybe I'll get into this story here in a second. Um, and speaking of Reddit, I actually pulled this up from Reddit, but all over, kind of all over Twitter, Barstool had like a collection of tweets of people complaining about this, but the football games in the snow over the weekend, because there was a lot of snow because it's January and the playoff games were being played outside. This guy says, I know everyone loves snow games, but in the playoffs, I want to see the best teams go against the best teams with all their weapons. I don't have a rooting interest in this game, but I'd rather be watching these teams put together their best plan possible. This Eagles-Rams game has effectively neutered the passing game and led to multiple players falling down or dropping passes they wouldn't have if it didn't just happen to snow today. Probably my most controversial opinion, but it's lame when the game turns into who can dry off their hands more and slips less rather than who is actually the better football team. So I guess, I don't know, this guy's he's a Rams or a Ravens fan, I guess. I mean, watching those games, and by the way, it was snowing outside my window while I was watching them. And I had my nice string lights up with my red lights and everything. It was just a very chill zone. I was watching 8 hours worth of snow football. Incredible, incredible stuff. This is in the by the way, this is in our the Bill Simmons subreddit. So and of course, if you're a Bill Simmons fan, you're probably like a fucking he's one of those guys like Colin Cowherd who caters to cranky boomers. Like cranky boomers with sports takes are the worst. Like they're the ones who they don't want the infield to be able to shift. You know, they think the analyst talks too much during football games. They don't like it when pass interference is called ever. They just a guy could be a defensive back could come out and fucking club a receiver in the knees with a baseball bat, and you'd have some 60-year-old dude talking about how back in my day they that wasn't a penalty. They just let them play the game. So this is a very boomer take. And I saw there was a bunch of it, and it was just insane to me. Kay Adams, that was shocking. Kay Adams, formerly of the, she used to be on Good Morning Football. And I'm usually a very, very big fan of her work and her appearance in general. I'm not going to lie. But says, do we actually love snow games, or do we just lie about it like we lie about understanding Interstellar? No, we love snow football games. Snow football games are fucking awesome. It's fun. Too bad if you're not ready to play in the snow, then too bad you don't advance to the next round. I don't know what to tell you. A team from Los Angeles struggled to maintain possession of the football in the snow. It happens. That is the sport. Someone else says, snow games are horrid. You guys need to stop that real football weather gimmick. This shit is unwatchable. It's only unwatchable if you are what you're telling me. If you don't like a snow football game, is that you just want to watch the Madden simulation. Go open up your Xbox, your PS5 or whatever, and run a Madden sim of the two teams playing in perfect weather. Then, like it's football. Football is a game that is affected by your playing conditions. It starts with the heat of August, right? No one wants to play down in Miami or Tampa during the first month and a half of the season. And then it shifts. It shifts, and no one wants to play in the northern part of the country in the second half of the season. And if you're a dome team, you like that home field advantage of playing, in a dome on turf. It's different everywhere. The conditions under which you play are different, and if if you would like the advantage of that difference, of whatever it is about your home field that is advantageous to you, then it is incumbent upon you to outperform the competition during the regular season and earn that home field advantage, and use that to win in the postseason. And if not, if you're from LA and you go to Philly and your quarterback isn't great in cold weather situations, well, too bad. Do better in the regular season and play the game at your place, and maybe you win. That's the way it is. It's very, very silly, very silly. To sort of say that we should fix that and eliminate it. That's not what we're doing. We're not ruining. It's not fucking baseball. All right, baseball, they don't play in the rain for whatever reason, because baseball is supposed to be a day at the park, right? It's supposed to be we're out here at the park and we're enjoying ourselves, and there's a ball game going on, and it's gonna be a nice, a pastoral spring day. At its most inconvenient, maybe I'll have to put on a light windbreaker. That's why when people say, would you like to go watch the Mets play in the World Series? I'll be like, yeah, maybe, kind of, but actually, I would rather watch it from my living room because, being out in Queens with a fucking belly full of cheap light beer on a fucking cold, possibly slightly damp October night is not fun. And the bathroom lines get long and you miss a lot of the ball game. So, that's that. If you want to watch a sport in the nice weather or in a controlled environment, go to a basketball game, go to a hockey game. Maybe, I don't know if hockey is it too cold? It's too much ice. We got to play roller hockey now. Silly motherfuckers. Did Joy Taylor say that she doesn't like games being played in the snow? Amazing that Joy Taylor said something stupid. Let me see. I'll give it a quick goog, see if I can find what she said. Joy Taylor snow football. No, I can't find it. At least not quickly. Oh well. I wouldn't be surprised if Joy Taylor said something like that, because Joy Taylor spews some of the dumbest, most inane, absurd takes I have ever heard from a sportscaster. I know it's FS1 and they're trying to match ESPN in like the hot take department, but she really, really says some stupid stuff. But with that in mind, as Thagano says, indeed, yeah, I would certainly put it to her. She is a thickie. I saw some pictures of her. They were like on the beach. She was doing that kneel down thing in the sand and looking at the camera very seductively. Yeah, she looks like in some regards, she looks like she'd be a great time and we'd get along swimmingly. In other regards, she is an absolute silly goose. Anyway, 8:48. All right. Last one before we wrap up for the evening. Children's book author and engineer husband exposed for double life in a house of horrors. So I saw this the other day. I didn't get an actual chance to read it, so we'll discover all of this together. But I just saw the headline, and it said children's book author and house of horrors, and I was immediately intrigued because there is something highly sus, as the kids say, about adults who write children's books. I just feel like if it's a cash grab, I understand, and you write some garbage about, this is the letter A. A is in apple. If I eat an apple a day, the doctor stays away. Or like some nonsense like that, and you're just trying to make a couple bucks selling kids' books on Amazon and it's a grift. That I'm totally fine with. I get it. Go out, make your money. But that's about all that kids need to read anyway, right? Like, here's the alphabet, here are the numbers, here are the countries, you get the rest at school. This is Jennifer Wolfthal, author of A Real Friend, and her husband Joseph Wolfthal, and engineered for Lockheed Martin, um, pleaded guilty on January 13th to aggravated child abuse and neglect of a child with great bodily harm. Um, she is going to get 12 years. He is going to get 10. I wonder why he got the extra time. I wonder if that's considered an aggravating circumstance. If you're writing children's book and then they find out that you're a horrible monster, they tack on a couple more years. They were abusing their own kids. Jesus Christ. Yeah, these people are just disgusting. There's not even fun to be had here. They were malnourishing their kids. I you know, I was hoping that it was some sort of, you know, they were running a daycare center and there was fentanyl around or something like that, or it was, something like the kids found, porn or this is just, yeah, good. A decade isn't long enough for these two. Fuck them. During addition, this is insane. The children's bedrooms had their doorknobs installed backwards with the locks on the outside. This really is horror movie shit. During additional searches of the home, authorities found more than 1,100 written paragraphs reading, "My body stays flat on the bed at all times. I was never given permission to move or say anything. Now I get to write about this along with everything else. I am a fool." What? I mean, that is literally, and every once in a while you hear about one of these things, and it's so disturbing because you think back to when you were a kid and it was like, if you needed something from an adult, like whatever, just like, you needed a fresh pair of jeans for school or whatever, because like the trends had changed and now everyone was wearing, baggier jeans or whatever. And you knew, given the jungle that is middle school, that like life is always easier when you kind of like fit in with the crowd. And your parents were like, "Hey, yeah, well, we're not going to we're not getting to the mall this weekend. Like, it can wait 3 weeks. Like, we're busy." You kind of, as a 13-year-old, felt kind of like let down. Like, I need your assistance on this one. You don't have 20 minutes to run to J.C. Penney. Like, um, and you're like, "Oh, this is the worst." What happens to the kid as they grow up after this? Like, how do you even learn to trust society and go about and just exist? Like the littlest things, those littlest pieces of socialization that just sort of happen naturally as we're growing up, that never happen. Like, the things that you internalize, like, right, if you have a kid whose parents are constantly harping on them, like, "Hey, your grades aren't good enough, you got not good enough, you got to study harder," right? They're the ones who get to college and they just black out and they're fucking drunk and puking all over the place and just, you're going in the complete opposite direction of where their parents drove them because of that influence. What happens to the kid who grew up writing paragraph after paragraph? uh you know I get to write about this along with everything else. I am a fool. um yeah, incredible. And what, I'm so curious because this is such psychotic behavior. um I'm so curious, well, what creates this behavior, and how do how do two people get together and do this, right? Because I mean, obviously, there's something very wrong with like there. How do you sniff that out when you're on a a hinge date or whatever, and you're like, so what do what are you thinking for the future? You try to figure out if you're on the same page. Like, are you looking for marriage, kids? What's your timeline like? And how do you answer that? Like, yes, I would like to have kids and raise a family. Actually, I'm a children's author, but there is something you should know. I plan on spending most of my free time when I'm not writing my children's books, of course. Um, I am spending planning on spending most of my free time uh, abusing them in such a degree and with such detail that we will be installing reverse locks on the door. Like, that is such a step. Or to make the kid to have come up with the paragraph that the kid has to write over and over again. I mean, this is just it's sheer wickedness. It is evil. Um it destroys lives. It requires such a lack of empathy. I'm blown away. Blown away by how and why someone would do this. Like, even like a serial killer, I understand, right? The you know you understand how it's wildly antisocial and terrible, of course, but you understand how someone might take a perverse joy in killing, or it's a revenge on society, or like a mass shooter or whatever. Like, you understand how someone could be driven to that or wired that way. Or even like a rapist, there's a there's a sexual gratification element, and what have you. A lot of things that are horrible and shocking to the senses, we can at least rationalize the motivation for them, even if we're disgusted by the act and the motivation. This one, it's like, where does it even come from, and how do you effectively filter through partners to find one who's down for that? Um, it is unfathomable. We'll end on a happy note. I was asked to pull a certain picture. I will give me just a second to get it up on the screen here. Just just a moment. Oh, I mean, there are a lot of good ones here. I'm not gonna lie. If you like a if you like a gal with a certain type of build, um, just a second. Well, here's number one. I think that's certainly something we can all enjoy. Haircut's a little ridiculous, but what can you do? It's a good time. Here's another one. I'm quite partial to this particular pose. I kind of like when a gal positions herself thusly. Pink one floating around Twitter. Let's see. Um, Maybe it's this one. Maybe it's this one. She's in that pink thing, smoking cigars, popping bottles. You know what? Again, her sports takes are absolutely kooky, but if she wanted to sit down, smoke a couple Macanudos, have a little champagne, and do so poolside while attired thusly. You would not hear me saying no. I would accept that invitation. So if she wants to debate the finer points of snow football over a beverage by the pool, I'm certainly there for it. Maybe we can make that happen. Who knows? Maybe that doing that and getting on Are You Garbage, and of course where everyone wants to go, Rogan. Of course, are the those are the big career goals for now. Um, Michael Bart. I have never broached the subject, but I certainly can't control what you know. I'm always glad to have you guys liking and sharing. I'll leave it at that. Um, but I appreciate your support very much. With that in mind, it is 9 o'clock. It is time for me to enjoy a couple nice steaks and some real time with Bill Maher before I turn in for a busy Saturday. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Next week, the next couple weeks, touch and go. There's going to be a pre-record in there somewhere, and I may have to take one off. I'm not sure. My lady friend recently purchased a house down at the Jersey Shore, so she's doing some renovations, and they're almost done. So when that's done, I got to help her, put in some furniture and get the place ready. And then the gym that I work for they do. Our staff meetings are on Friday nights now because I guess that's the only time they can corral all the trainers. The nice thing is, last time we had one, they greeted us with a nice little meat and cheese platter and a bottle of tequila and a couple cases of High Noon. So if they're doing that, I really can't complain about being called to a meeting on a Friday night. But I will get the episodes out where possible, and where possible, I will do them live. Otherwise, every once in a while, it's a Friday off or a Friday pre-record. But thank you guys for being here and tuning in and being so supportive. I really always have such a good time when we get to do this live. Like I'm fucking exhausted right now from fucking going for a long run in the cold and then dealing with the idiotic traffic in this area. So this was a nice little bit of fun to cap off the evening. So I will see you guys. Enjoy the games this weekend. It's the last weekend of football for the football fans. Then we have to share Super Bowl Sunday with the unwashed masses. So enjoy it. Don't forget the socials. Twitter at Mike Montone, Instagram at Gary_Moyler, MOYLER, at Mike's Golden Streams on YouTube. Howdy to Nick Johnson, getting to the party a tad late. We are just about to wrap things up, but I will catch you guys on the flip side. Adios, motherfuckers.